Wake up. Greetings, people of Earth. Me llamo Jefe. And did you know that there was an occasion back in the 40s where a group of Christian leaders gathered in Oxford to discuss the uniqueness of Christianity among world religions. And a lot of famous people were there, a lot of spiritual leaders were there, including one Clive Staples Lewis, who sat in the corner as they discussed what was unique about Christianity. And C.S. Lewis just kind of sat there and watched and listened, and finally somebody turned to him and said, Jack, because that's what people called him, because who wants to be called Clive Staples? So they said, Jack, what do you think is the most unique thing about Christianity in world religions? And he said, oh, that's easy. It's grace. And he was right. Grace is unique to Christianity. It's the thing that Christianity offers because it tells the story of a God who is loving and merciful and compassionate and gracious. And so therefore the people who believe in this God and follow his Son, the Messiah, who in his graciousness and by grace has allowed us to be reunited with our God, if we follow him, we get to be carriers of this grace. This was something that we focused on last night in our prayer and worship night. We prayed for grace to be coming through us as a church. And by the way, in case you forgot, our church's name is Grace. And I was thinking about that this week because we're coming up on a year since the world shut down for COVID. That's like a week from now is when everything just started to fall apart around here. And during this last year, I think a word that you probably could not use to describe how Christians have treated each other is grace. I don't think we've been very gracious to each other. I think, in fact, we've seen a lot of the splitting going on because of people's disagreements politically or people's disagreements about how the government is working and how we should respond to that or not. And there hasn't been a lot of grace. In fact, I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a pastor, and he said, Jeff, the next person who comes to me and says, Pastor, I want to meet with you because I have something I want to tell you. And that conversation is to give me grace as a pastor and encourage me and offer their support. He said, I'm going to give him $10 and a big fat kiss. And I said, you know what? I think I know how that feels. And you don't have to be a pastor to know how that feels. It seems like so much of our conversations and so much of our interaction with one another as Christians versus the world, or as Christians with other Christians, is marked with unrest and frustration and negativity and discouragement. And our God is a God of grace. What we do should be gracious and with gratitude. All of those words come from the same root. This idea of a gift. Grace is a gift. It is God's blessing on us. It is giving us something that we don't deserve. And we get to give that to other people by forgiving them. If we carry bitterness in our hearts toward people, then we're not walking with grace. If we levy accusations against others, then we're not walking with grace. If we gossip behind people's backs about things we're frustrated about other people, that's not gracious. And I think what the world needs now is grace. So here's my challenge to you if you're watching this video. Surprise someone with kindness today. Just out of the blue, go up and be kind and show somebody grace. I think it'll be worth your while. And it'll be a great blessing to whoever you're talking to. Some big things going on here in the month of March. It's going to be a busy month, and so we need your grace. This Sunday, March 7th, we'll be continuing our Luke series at 8:30 and 10 and online. For those of you who are still watching from home, thank you for doing that. We'll be in Luke 15 covering some parables about lost sheep and a lost coin, and it'll be really fun. And then after the services at 11:30, we're going to have a small group gathering for the leaders of our small groups so we can figure out kind of what our base is and who's in current small groups, because we're getting a lot of people requesting to be put into small groups. And we want to accommodate those people and get these things started up now in 2021. So if you are a leader of a small group, please come to that at 11:30. On the 14th, that's next Sunday, we'll be continuing on in the Gospel of Luke. And afterwards, we're going to have a front door ministry gathering. And that's for anyone interested in helping with our front door ministry. It's the kind of ministry you can serve in as a family. Kids are absolutely welcome to be a part of this. And you don't need to commit to a lot. We're talking maybe one service a month, and it might be a service you already come to. So please come out to that. That would be after the services next Sunday, the 14th. And then here's the big one in March on the 21st. The weekend of the 21st, we'll be having our youth pastor candidate, John Gardner, come out, and he'll be here Wednesday for youth ministry on the 17th. And then Friday night, the 19th, we're going to have a special gathering for youth and parents and youth volunteers to get to know him, a Q&A, kind of a fun thing that Friday night. He will be preaching on the 21st. So come ready to get to know John and his wife. And so that will be that weekend. And then the following weekend, the 28th, is when we will have a special congregational meeting at 11:30 after the morning services to vote on John's candidacy, as well as vote on the third draft of the bylaws, which you will have in your hands in the coming days, so that we can maybe put that to rest and move forward into some of our other things coming up in 2021. So that's going to be a very big meeting on March 28th. Following that meeting, we're going to have a big party in the fellowship hall. We'll have a big luncheon, and it'll be great for people to come and stick around. So even if you come to the 8:30 service, we'd still like you to come to the 8:30 service on the 28th. Just come back for the business meeting, the votes, and then the party. So that's coming up on the 28th. And if that's not enough, the following Sunday after that, April 4th, is Easter Sunday. So we have a lot in the next 4 or 5 weeks, and we want you all to be a part of as much as you can. Thank you so much for being a part of what we've done so far. Until next time, I'm Jeff, and you're you, and our God is very, very gracious to us.